Continuing from the last chapter, after purchasing medicinal herbs and raw materials from the pill workshop, Xiao Yan returned to find Yue Ru at his door. Yue Ru, is something wrong? Xiao Yan walked to his doorway, spotting a familiar figure. As he approached and got a clearer view, he realized it was Yue Ru. Without hesitation, he opened his door and invited her inside. It's nothing, really. It's just that someone went missing recently, and I was worried about you. Yue Ru relaxed upon seeing Xiao Yan was fine. After all, she was a stranger in this unfamiliar place, and Xiao Yan was the only person who made her feel somewhat secure. Don't worry, but you should also be cautious, Xiao Yan reassured her. He understood Yue Ru's concerns. Xiao Yan wasn't heartless, and he had some unresolved mysteries of his own. Ultimately, Xiao Yan cared for Yue Ru like a brother would for a sister. After all, she was among the first to help him when he arrived on the Dodi continent. How did things go yesterday? Yue Ru bit her lips slightly, hesitating about whether she should ask. Yesterday? Nothing much happened, just some unusual fluctuations in soul power. Senior brother Imo Chun took me to see the person in charge, and it's been resolved now, Xiao Yan replied, noticing Yue Ru's unease. Xiao Yan, have you noticed anything strange around here? I had a terrible night's sleep. The rune on my forehead kept emitting some sort of energy. I don't know what's going on. Yue Ru looked at Xiao Yan with confusion, her tone pleading for his help. Oh. Xiao Yan looked at Yue Ru carefully and noticed the dark circles under her eyes, a clear sign she hadn't rested well. Could you take a look for me? Yue Ru bit her lip again. Her cheeks flushed with a hint of pink. I'm not sure if that's appropriate. That rune is your inheritance? Xiao Yan hesitated, but before he could finish, the mysterious rune on Yue Ru's forehead started to glow faintly under her control. Seeing the rune, Xiao Yan had no choice but to prepare himself. He activated his Do Qi as a protective measure and focused on Yue Ru's forehead, preparing to investigate the mysterious symbol thoroughly. This rune's inheritance came from the Jiaoyu fairy. Although Xiao Yan wasn't certain of its full power, anything associated with a figure who called themselves a fairy was undoubtedly at least at the Doxian level. Anything connected to a Doxian couldn't possibly be ordinary, so Xiao Yan had to be cautious. The white energy on Yue Ru's forehead slowly radiated outward. Xiao Yan furrowed his brow. He could sense a powerful force within the faint energy, as if something was sealed inside Yue Ru. This energy isn't sealed within me. Rather, there's something in me that can connect with this power. With the help of the crescent jade fruit, I can fully accept this inheritance once I reach the required strength, Yue Ru softly explained, noticing Xiao Yan's expression. What level do you need to reach? Xiao Yan asked, curious. At least a 5-star Do Di, Yue Ru replied, a hint of exhaustion in her voice. After all, each step in the Do Di realm was no small feat. Don't worry, I believe your future achievements will far exceed the 5-star Do Di, Xiao Yan encouraged her. Maybe, but the place I need to go to receive the inheritance is quite challenging, Yue Ru replied, a rare firmness and expectation in her voice. When I reach 5-star Do Di, will you come with me? Yue Ru asked softly, her voice filled with both strength and hope. I'll be there whenever you need. Xiao Yan responded, unable to refuse when he saw her hopeful expression. Little did he know, this decision would become a source of regret in the distant future. Then it's settled, no backing out. Yue Ru's smile returned, her spirits lifted. Xiao Yan used his soul power to examine Yue Ru's body, but he found nothing unusual. Reluctantly, he gave up and offered her some advice. I couldn't find anything wrong, but it's better to be cautious these next few days. Here are some calming pills. They should help you get a good night's sleep tonight, Xiao Yan said, taking out some pills for Yue Ru. No, I can't accept these. They're too valuable. Yue Ru stammered, her demeanor like a shy, reluctant bride, causing Xiao Yan to chuckle. Just take them. There's no need for such formalities between us. All right, I'll accept them then, Yue Ru finally agreed. But consider it a debt. I promise I'll repay you someday, Yue Ru said earnestly, accepting the pills from Xiao Yan's hand. Sure. Xiao Yan quickly responded, not expecting any repayment from Yue Ru. The two chatted for a while longer. Seeing Yue Ru yawning repeatedly, Xiao Yan escorted her back to her residence, only returning to his own place after ensuring she was safely settled in. After carefully checking his surroundings and confirming no one was around, Xiao Yan set up a soul barrier for added security. With everything in place, he relaxed and took out a purple, clay-like mystical amethyst rock, a tri-flame flower, a soul-warming stone, and a 4-pattern Do-D card worth 1 million gold coins. The mystical amethyst rock was simple to use. It just needed to be heated with flames. Xiao Yan had bought the tri-flame flower out of an abundance of caution. Although the tri-flame flower was far inferior to the 7-flame flower, finding one could be considered a stroke of luck, so he decided to buy it early. Without even looking, Xiao Yan stored the 4-pattern Do-D card along with the mystical amethyst rock and the tri-flame flower in his imperial flame ring. Then, he carefully inspected the small stone before him. The soul-warming stone was about the size of Xiao Yan's palm and irregularly shaped, but its surface gleamed with a crystal-like sheen, making it quite captivating. Xiao Yan placed his palm gently on the soul-warming stone and noticed tiny threads of light seeping from the stone into his body. Immediately, he felt the soul power in his depleted soul regenerating at a visible pace. The recovery speed was quite impressive. Thrilled by this discovery, Xiao Yan couldn't help but smile with delight. Indeed, the Do-D continent, being an upper dimension, was filled with all sorts of rare and curious treasures. Where in the world would you find such good fortune? This soul-warming stone is remarkable, but it has its limits. With your current soul power, this stone will become useless after about 5 uses. The Golden Dragon King's voice suddenly resonated. What? Xiao Yan responded, feeling a bit disheartened. The soul-warming stones are divided into 3 grades, upper, middle, and lower. They store soul power, which can be absorbed by others. However, once all the power is drained, the stone becomes nothing more than a worthless rock, the Golden Dragon King explained. I see. Xiao Yan, understanding this, put away the soul-warming stone, preparing to rest. After all, tomorrow would bring the announcement for the 5th-tier talent and the selection tournament. Just as Xiao Yan was about to lie down, a cloud of black mist appeared mid-air in his brightly lit room, radiating an eerie and sinister aura. The black mist, as if searching for a target, surged towards Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan, watch out for the black mist. The Golden Dragon King's voice thundered in Xiao Yan's mind like a giant's roar. With a loud bang, the black mist touched Xiao Yan, making a sound like a balloon popping. Xiao Yan instantly vanished from his room and reappeared in a place shrouded in darkness. Where am I? Xiao Yan was shocked by the sudden turn of events. He had just been preparing to rest, only to be thrust into this dark place after his master, the Golden Dragon King, shouted a warning. Looking around, all he could see was an endless expanse of darkness. It seemed he was lying on a stone bed. Xiao Yan had no time to be astonished. He quickly extended his powerful soul energy in all directions, trying to figure out where he was. Master, where is this? Xiao Yan asked in his mind. This seems to be an underground world, and the ghostly energy here is particularly dense. Be cautious, his master, the Golden Dragon King, replied. From Xiao Yan's perception, this place appeared to be a vast subterranean world with complex, intertwining passages. Why are they capturing so many people? The ones up above said the previous batch wasn't enough and that more people need to be taken. But aren't they afraid of attracting the attention of the high-level figures from the mystic 3 heavens by capturing so many this time? Those figures are not to be trifled with. That's not our concern. This time, I managed to capture someone from the celestial chamber. Anyone who can stay in a celestial chamber must be. A phantom voice reached Xiao Yan's ears. Hearing this, Xiao Yan quickly thought to himself. In this unknown world, the best strategy was to remain still and observe, waiting for the right moment to act. With a plan in mind, Xiao Yan closed his eyes. How can someone with just a peak 3-star Do-D strength be living in a celestial chamber? The ones we've captured from there before were at least 4-star Do-Dis. Did these humans make a mistake? A shadowy figure floated towards the stone bed, sensing Xiao Yan. To say it walked would be inaccurate. It floated in mid-air, without feet. As the shadow sensed Xiao Yan felt its presence. chilling and eerie. This was not the aura of a human, or even one of the extraterritorial evil clan. The shadow's aura seemed somewhat similar to his master, the Golden Dragon King, when in a soul state. "It's a specter!" The Golden Dragon King's voice echoed gravely in Xiao Yan's mind. "A specter?" Xiao Yan frowned. "Yes, a specter. They're creatures from the ghost realm, known for their eerie and sinister presence. If the ghostly energy gets inside you, it can be quite troublesome. Stay alert," the Golden Dragon King warned. "Understood," Xiao Yan replied, his mind filled with shock. He remained still on the stone bed, trying to stay calm. "Move this human," the shadow commanded. Immediately, several figures, resembling living corpses, appeared. They had human-like bodies and walked on the ground, but their eyes were dull and lifeless. Drip, drip. The sound of water dripping echoed through the dim passageway, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Soon, Xiao Yan was carried into a slightly illuminated stone chamber. Inside, there was a cold pool surrounded by many other humans in similar conditions to his own. Why is he here as well? Xiao Yan was gently placed down. His expansive soul energy, which had been secretly probing since his arrival, detected a young Taoist in a robe beside him. It was the same person he had encountered at the tea house before, Mu Feng, if he remembered correctly. The young Taoist seemed to notice another person had been brought beside him. His fingers twitched slightly, and a faint light flew from his fingertips toward Xiao Yan. "You got caught too. This place is very dangerous," a voice echoed in Xiao Yan's mind as the tiny light reached him. Transmitting sound through force, impressive, Xiao Yan thought, and a faint light similarly traveled from him back toward Mu Feng. "I don't know what happened. I was just lying in bed, and the next thing I knew, I was here," Xiao Yan conveyed through the light. "Wait a bit longer. I'll get us out of here." Mu Feng confidently sent the message back to Xiao Yan. Receiving the message, Xiao Yan refrained from further communication, aware of the risks if they were discovered. "Are you ready?" Not long after, a shadowy figure by the cold pool spoke. "With these people, we now have a total of 100. It should be enough," a voice, seemingly coming from nowhere, responded respectfully. Mere humans. This time, we'll make sure you remember the name of the ghost realm," the figure standing by the cold pool sneered. "Ha ha ha." The ghostly energy around the figure intensified. Xiao Yan sensed that this shadow's strength was comparable to Hu Du's, if not more formidable. The shadow lingered briefly in the stone chamber before leaving, restoring the room to silence. "Let's go." Xiao Yan immediately stood up upon hearing the signal. Mu Feng also rose to his feet after speaking. "Damn it! What is this?" Xiao Yan reached the chamber door only to find an invisible force blocking the exit. They couldn't get out. "Watch this." Mu Feng chanted some strange incantations, yin and yang, 5 elements, all things return to one. "Conceal." As he finished the spell, both Xiao Yan and Mu Feng's bodies became translucent and ghostly. "Don't worry, this is only temporary," Mu Feng reassured Xiao Yan, noticing his uneasy expression. Xiao Yan, recognizing Mu Feng's formidable abilities, realized he was experienced in dealing with these specters. After casting the spell, Mu Feng casually walked to the edge of the cold pool, carefully examining the surroundings. Aside from some unconscious individuals, the chamber contained only the cold pool, which was small, about 1 meter in diameter, with water that was dark and ominous, suggesting it was very deep. Standing by the pool, Xiao Yan stared quietly at the water and suddenly asked, "Don't you find something odd about this cold pool?" Hearing this, Mu Feng calmed his mind and focused on the pool, as if contemplating something. Mu Feng took a step back, his hands forming strange seals in front of his chest while his feet shifted slightly. He chanted under his breath. After a moment, he abruptly spoke, "Yin and Yang, 5 elements, transform the cosmos, mystic eye, open." As he finished, his eyes emitted 2 beams of strange light that shot straight into the cold pool, a sight both mysterious and eerie. With a look of surprise, Mu Feng said, "Based on my investigation, the sinister energy and ghostly aura at the bottom of this pool are extremely strong. It seems to be concealing a powerful specter. We need to be careful. Moreover, There is a cold spring at the bottom of the pool. Inside that spring is a jade talisman that appears to have developed cracks. Judging by its condition, it's likely been suppressing the powerful ghostly aura for a long time. But now it's eroded and starting to shatter, Mu Feng explained. Xiao Yan furrowed his brows. What Mu Feng described matched what he sensed through his soul power. More importantly, Xiao Yan had detected a seal within the cold spring's eye, where the ghostly aura was rapidly growing stronger at an astonishing speed, seemingly gathering power to break through the seal. Near the cold spring's eye, there was an irregular groove, which seemed to indicate that something had been there before but was now missing. If whatever's down here gets loose, it'll be a disaster. Why don't we team up and deal with it? Mu Feng suggested excitedly, standing by the cold pool with Xiao Yan. I don't think that's a good idea, Xiao Yan declined. They had only met twice, and although he knew Mu Feng was also here for the selection test, Xiao Yan still felt wary. Moreover, the entity in the pool was too mysterious, and for Mu Feng to want his help meant he likely had ulterior motives. How can you say that? I saved you, and now you don't want to help rid the world of this evil? If whatever's in this pool gets out, who knows how many people will suffer? Mu Feng chastised Xiao Yan, his voice filled with righteous indignation. Xiao Yan was taken aback by Mu Feng's childlike demeanor. Reluctantly, he considered that Mu Feng had indeed helped him with the invisibility earlier, and the fact that Mu Feng showed no fear here, instead displaying excitement, suggested he knew some hidden secrets. Do you have confidence? Xiao Yan asked uncertainly. He couldn't gauge the strength of the specter beneath the cold pool, but it was likely formidable. Xiao Yan had never faced such an entity before, and handling it would be challenging. A single misstep, and they both could be... I'm not certain, Mu Feng admitted. But as you heard earlier, everyone here is a newcomer for the selection test. Look carefully. There are hundreds of people here, he pointed out. Xiao Yan glanced around and saw a dense crowd of figures not far from them, easily over 100. If I'm right, all these people are meant to be thrown into this cold pool. If the specter inside breaks the seal, even the chief in charge here might find it hard to handle. So, are you willing to try? Mu Feng didn't hide his intentions from Xiao Yan. He knew Xiao Yan possessed a faint yet powerful energy, one that even Mu Feng couldn't quite match. But when it came to dealing with specters, Mu Feng was more confident than Xiao Yan, having grown up facing such creatures. All right, let's give it a try. If anything goes wrong, we retreat immediately, Xiao Yan said firmly. I knew you'd say that, Mu Feng replied, as if he had anticipated Xiao Yan's response. Be careful, Xiao Yan cautioned again. Mu Feng's soul power wasn't as strong as Xiao Yan's. Xiao Yan could sense a faint but deadly fluctuation in the cold pool, filled with the scent of death. At that moment, a flash of light appeared on the ring on Mu Feng's finger, and objects materialized in both his hands. Muttering under his breath, Mu Feng's entire body began to emit layers of blue light. He drew the light with his left hand, while gripping a wooden sword tightly in his right. He moved around the perimeter of the cold pool, his steps seemingly aligned with the positions of the 8 trigrams. Mu Feng continued chanting, swinging his wooden sword with vigor. The scene resembled a village sorcerer performing a ritual, making it look quite comical. Watching from the side, Xiao Yan couldn't help but chuckle. He found Mu Feng's behavior peculiar, but he also sensed that wherever Mu Feng walked, a faint glow appeared, and a terrifying power was building up within the wooden sword. Meanwhile, the Golden Dragon King within Xiao Yan's body was deep in thought, surprised by something he had realized. Who would have thought someone in this world still mastered the art of the Enyang 8 trigrams? The Golden Dragon King said slowly. The art of the Enyang 8 trigrams? Xiao Yan echoed in surprise. He had heard his master, the Golden Dragon King, mention before that the world was vast, filled with unusual cultivators. The art of the Enyang 8 trigrams was particularly effective against the specters of the ghost realm. Now Xiao Yan understood why Mu Feng showed no fear facing these eerie specters. He possessed a powerful treasure. Why does this thing in the pool feel strangely familiar? The Golden Dragon King muttered in a low voice, though Xiao Yan, focused on the cold pool, did not hear him. Mu Feng let out a low hum. The wooden sword in his hand burst forth with a powerful blue light, which he swung down towards the cold pool from above. Instantly, a mighty blue sword aura struck the surface of the pool, causing a thunderous explosion as water splashed several meters into the air. Immediately afterward, countless black mists began to emerge from the cold pool, gradually dissipating under the pressure of Mu Feng's blue sword aura. After the slash, Mu Feng swiftly took out a blood-red talisman with his left hand, bit his right index finger, and quickly wrote a long incantation in blood on the talisman. Without hesitation, he slapped the talisman onto the cold pool. The blood-red talisman transformed into a massive energy dragon and dove straight into the pool. As soon as the blood talisman entered the water, the cold pool's surface surged violently as if recoiling from the talisman. A bubbling sound followed as more black mist floated up from the pool, which was then shredded into fine threads by the talisman's power and vanished into thin air. The entire water surface began to shake violently. Waves rippled across the pool, growing larger and larger, until a black beam of energy suddenly shot out from the pool, breaking through the water's surface and shattering the energy dragon formed by Mu Feng's blood talisman. The beam then rushed straight towards Mu Feng. Mu Feng's wooden sword erupted with a monstrous aura, clashing with the black beam in a fierce battle. He was forced back several steps, his face filled with shock, his mouth babbling incantations. Xiao Yan's expression changed drastically. He quickly channeled his Do Qi to its peak. A terrifying milky white Do Qi beam appeared instantly, sweeping towards the black entity emerging from the cold pool. At this moment, a black mist slowly surfaced above the water. The mist condensed into a shadowy figure, sinister and ghostly, like a malevolent spirit. Seeing the apparition, Mu Feng's face changed slightly. Be careful. This is an exceptionally rare ghost spirit, incredibly powerful, comparable to an early-stage 4-star Do D. It's extremely difficult to deal with, he shouted. With a swift swing of his wooden sword, he uttered a chant, and a profound blue light shot towards the ghost spirit. The ghost spirit let out a sinister chuckle, its body turning into a wisp of smoke, disappearing from its original spot. In the next instant, it reappeared behind Xiao Yan, preparing to launch an attack. But Xiao Yan, sensing its presence, struck out with his palm, aiming directly at the ghost spirit. It was Xiao Yan's first time battling such a creature, and the sensation was akin to striking a sponge. The ghost spirit quickly dodged, about to launch another attack when it noticed some movement in the cold pool. It stared motionlessly at the pool's surface. The cold pool began bubbling violently, larger bubbles bursting and releasing even more concentrated black mist, as if something was about to emerge. Damn it! Why is there such a high concentration of ghostly aura here? Xiao Yan, get out now! The Golden Dragon King's voice roared fiercely in Xiao Yan's mind. The sudden shout from his master sent a shiver through Xiao Yan's soul. He didn't dare linger any longer. Grabbing the still spellcasting Mu Feng, he sprinted out as fast as he could. Even without his master's warning, Xiao Yan's powerful soul sensed the immense, unseen danger emanating from the cold pool's thickening black mist. It was unmistakably the scent of death. Damn it! What the hell is in there? Mu Feng also realized the appearance of the ghost spirit from the cold pool wasn't the end. Something even more formidable seemed to be lurking beneath. It became clear that the ghost spirit was merely guarding something far more powerful at the bottom of the cold pool. Mu Feng shuddered at the thought. Damn it! What is this? We can't get out! Xiao Yan exclaimed as he and Mu Feng tried to flee towards the exit. However, no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't escape. It was as if something at the doorway was blocking them, bouncing them back. Just as Xiao Yan was about to use his heavenly flames, he was interrupted by Mu Feng's voice. This is a barrier unique to the ghost realm. Let me handle it, Mu Feng said. Heaven and earth, boundless, yin and yang of the cosmos, open. Mu Feng chanted, forming intricate hand seals. As he finished, a surge of powerful energy exploded from him. Bang! 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 With 3 loud explosions, the barrier blocking their path dissolved into a wave of energy that scattered in all directions. Without wasting a moment, they accelerated to their maximum speed. The two of them fled swiftly, and under the concealment effect of Mu Feng's yin-yang technique, their figures became faint and indistinct, almost invisible even upon close inspection. As they passed by several patrolling specters along the way, the specters didn't notice them, and the duo moved like a gust of wind. "Master, what was that thing in the cold pool?" Xiao Yan asked in shock, sensing from the Golden Dragon King's earlier words that he knew something. "I wasn't planning to tell you about these things yet, but since we've encountered it, I suppose I have to." Regarding that cold pool, the ghost spirit was merely a guardian. The Golden Dragon King began. "And you're right. The cold pool indeed seals a powerful specter. However, it seems the object that was suppressing it has disappeared. Based on my senses, the specter sealed within the pool should be a ghost emperor, a central figure in the ghost realm and quite a formidable adversary. In the mythical ghost realm, the hierarchy of ghosts starts with the weakest ghost soldiers, followed by ghost souls, ghost generals, ghost marshals, and then ghost spirits, which are 10 times more powerful. Above them are ghost emperors, who are 10 times stronger than ghost spirits, and at the pinnacle are ghost immortals. Today, you encountered both a ghost spirit and a ghost emperor. If it weren't for the remnants of the sealing power in the cold pool, preventing the ghost emperor from escaping, your situation would have been extremely perilous. The Golden Dragon King explained slowly. "What are you spacing out for? Follow me." Mu Feng called out, noticing Xiao Yan slowing down. With that, Mu Feng picked up speed, heading toward a passage that branched out in all directions. "Follow him. This kid is well-versed in the art of yin-yang and 8 trigrams. He can navigate the ghost realm as if he were walking on flat ground." The Golden Dragon King's voice echoed in Xiao Yan's mind. Back at the cold pool, the ghost spirit stared at the water's surface, where large bubbles continued to rise. It felt a twinge of fear. "My lord, don't. The sealing power hasn't completely dissipated yet. Forcing your way out could harm your very essence." The ghost spirit advised respectfully. The entity in the cold pool seemed to ponder briefly, then quieted down. "Where is the frigid ghost spirit?" the ghost spirit shouted, scanning the stone chamber and noticing the many unconscious humans. Satisfied, it bellowed loudly. "Why have you come out, malevolent ghost spirit? Weren't you supposed to protect our lord?" Another figure slowly appeared beside the cold pool. "Heh, frigid. You dare ask? How did humans manage to enter this place?" The malevolent ghost spirit retorted angrily. "Humans? Impossible. We used our ghost realm's unique maze powder to secretly transport these humans here via a spatial transfer array from the surface. Even a peak 4-star Do-D shouldn't wake up in a short time," the Phantom Spring ghost spirit countered. "Phantom Spring, you've offended our lord. Those 2 humans not only came here, but they also probed the cold pool. If it weren't for our lord's intervention, they might have succeeded. Moreover, their attack has angered our lord. The unsealing must now be done ahead of schedule," the malevolent ghost spirit said gravely. "Report to the lord. The 2 humans from the celestial chambers have gone missing." A ghost soldier appeared slowly. "Useless, useless, useless." The Phantom Spring ghost spirit roared in fury. "Heh, Phantom Spring, see what you've done. You can't even handle such a trivial task. If our lord finds out," the malevolent ghost spirit chided. "There's no time. We might have been exposed here. Quickly, throw these humans into the pool to help our lord break the seal." Phantom Spring ordered decisively. "Phantom Spring, you? Even in our lord's current state, breaking the seal requires the blood of 100 humans. There are only 96 here. Will that be enough?" The malevolent ghost spirit questioned in surprise. "There's no time to capture more humans. If we delay any longer, something might go wrong," the Phantom Spring ghost spirit insisted. "Lord, the situation has changed. We must help you break the seal now," Phantom Spring ghost spirit said respectfully to the cold pool. With a wave of its ethereal hand, the sleeping humans were tossed into the pool one by one. Gurgle, gurgle. As soon as the humans were thrown into the pool, they were instantly reduced to pools of blood, creating numerous blood bubbles on the water's surface. Meanwhile, around the cold pool, a circle of golden runes emitted a dazzling light, sharply contrasting with the black mist emanating from the pool. The golden light and black mist clashed continuously, and as more humans dissolved into blood within the pool, the volume of blood increased, gradually giving the black mist an advantage over the golden light. Xiao Yan and Mu Feng continued to evade the powerful specters along their way, hiding and dodging skillfully. This was all thanks to Mu Feng's mystical Yin-Yang 8 trigrams technique. Otherwise, their escape wouldn't have been so smooth. Xiao Yan now had a new appreciation for Mu Feng. "What's that?" Xiao Yan asked as they followed Mu Feng, fleeing the dangerous area. As they neared the exit, he noticed a blurred figure. Mu Feng stopped for a moment. "That looks like a person." Xiao Yan's voice drew Mu Feng's attention. "This is already very close to the exit. It seems this person was also brought here," Mu Feng pondered. "Let's go." Xiao Yan picked up the unconscious figure and headed towards the exit. After a few minutes, they saw a place illuminated with light. The exit. Without hesitation, they increased their speed to the maximum and quickly reached the exit. As soon as they reached the exit, the intense light outside made them squint and shield their eyes. After a moment of adjustment, they realized that the exit was actually on the small path they had originally taken after disembarking from the boat and heading towards the test square. The path was densely covered and hidden, making it hard for ordinary people to notice. "We must report this to the chief immediately," they both exclaimed in unison. They looked at each other, stunned, then burst into laughter. Together, they headed towards Wu Jiang's residence. The person in Xiao Yan's grasp seemed to be slowly regaining consciousness. The two headed towards the residence of Wu Jiang, the chief manager. The figure Xiao Yan was carrying seemed to be gradually regaining consciousness. But just as he was about to wake up, a dense black mist surged out from his body, causing him to slip back into unconsciousness. "Manager Wu, are you there?" Xiao Yan called out, holding the heavily injured person while Mu Feng followed closely behind. He knocked heavily a few times on the door. Inside the room, Wu Jiang was reviewing some ancient documents and texts. Suddenly hearing his door being knocked so forcefully, he frowned, clearly annoyed. He had been incredibly busy these past few days. First, over 60 people went missing, which had already kept him occupied. Then today, he received an order from the Mystic Three Heavens sect, indicating that the selection tournament was about to begin. The missing people issue had not yet been resolved, and if the selection tournament started and the missing people were noticed by the authorities, his own fate. "Who is it?" Wu Jiang put down his book and went to open the door. "Jiang Yuan." Wu Jiang's voice boomed like thunder when he saw the figure in Xiao Yan's arms. "Uncle Wu, let us in first. There are too many eyes and ears around here," Xiao Yan suggested. Wu Jiang's eyes narrowed tightly when he saw the person Xiao Yan was carrying, his gaze turning momentarily dazed. All right, come in quickly," Wu Jiang hurriedly said, allowing Xiao Yan and Mu Feng inside. He then peeked outside before closing the door heavily. "What happened?" Wu Jiang asked in a deep voice as soon as he shut the door. "To be honest, uncle, here's what happened. Last night, while we were resting in our rooms, just as we were about to lie down, everything went black and we found ourselves in a dark space." Xiao Yan began, noticing Mu Feng's weakened state and deciding to explain. "How is that possible?" Wu Jiang exclaimed in shock. Although this wasn't their territory, they were using it temporarily. The newcomer's quarters had been inspected personally by him to ensure there were no issues before allowing anyone to stay. If what Xiao Yan said was true, then this was a serious problem. "Go on, Xiao Yan," Wu Jiang urged. "So last night, as I was about to rest in my room, I suddenly blacked out and ended up in that mysterious dark passage," Xiao Yan continued. "When I first arrived in that passage, I felt weak and powerless, almost like I desperately wanted to sleep. Luckily, I managed to suppress that feeling, so the enemies didn't succeed. Then some eerie figures with sinister auras gathered the unconscious people, seemingly plotting something significant. And the passage was intricate with many routes. A single misstep could easily lead to getting lost. The main thing is that there was an inconspicuous cold pool in the passage. It seemed to be sealing some powerful entity. Mu Feng and I tried attacking, but the creature was too strong, and we were forced to retreat. That's how we managed to escape. Xiao Yan revealed everything, considering the safety of hundreds of people was at stake, and there was no room for carelessness. The man I'm carrying now was someone we encountered during our escape, Xiao Yan added calmly. But his words struck Wu Jiang like a thunderclap. He then gently laid the man down, and Wu Jiang hurried over to support him. Damn it, it's ghostly aura. Ghostly energy has entered his body. This is a big problem, Wu Jiang said, releasing a surge of powerful Do Qi to examine Jiang Yuan's body, glaring fiercely at the black mist surrounding him. Sigh, this was indeed my oversight. I never expected such a massive problem. Wu Jiang sighed deeply upon hearing this. Uncle Wu, now is not the time for self-blame. The most urgent matter is to rescue the unconscious newcomers in that passage. Otherwise, the situation could deteriorate rapidly. Moreover, I sense that the entities in the passage have eerie, sinister auras. They are not human. They are undoubtedly specters from the ghost realm. They secretly captured so many people. It must have something to do with whatever is in that cold pool, Mu Feng said, his impatience evident. Where is the entrance from which you escaped? Wu Jiang asked, his gaze sharp and vigilant. No one understood the gravity of the situation better than he did. Although things had reached this point, there was still a chance to rectify the situation. This way, Wu Jiang said, and the three of them set off toward the narrow path. Wait, this is strange. We just came out from here, but now the exit is gone. Mu Feng was the first to speak, his face filled with confusion. Are you sure this is the place? Wu Jiang asked with a frown. It is indeed here, but the exit seems to have vanished. Xiao Yan muttered to himself, equally perplexed. They had just come out from here. How could the exit suddenly disappear? Let me give it a try. Mu Feng suggested, then began to chant an incantation. Boundless heaven and earth. Yin-yang 8 trigrams. Mystic eye. Open. As Mu Feng finished speaking, a faint, barely visible eye slowly appeared on his forehead, between his brows. The moment Mu Feng cast his spell, Wu Jiang wanted to stop him, but the words caught in his throat. He, too, wanted to figure out what was happening here. As for other concerns, meanwhile, a 10-year-old child with a soft, childish voice played around this small path every day. You're here again. What are you doing? This is the path we painstakingly cleared. Are you planning to blow it up? The child's voice, still soft and immature, rang in their ears. The child then ran over, puffing with indignation, waving his hands and making exaggerated gestures at Xiao Yan and the other two. I told my mother not to lend you this land, but she didn't listen. And now look at you, occupying our territory and poking around everywhere. After saying this, he glared fiercely at the three of them. We're just passing through. We mean no harm. We'll leave right away. Wu Jiang gave Xiao Yan and the others a meaningful look as he spoke. If you come again, I'll tell my mother, the child retorted stubbornly. Xiao Yan and his companions left the small path and headed toward Wu Jiang's residence. How did it go, Mu Feng? Wu Jiang asked. Uncle Wu, it's strange. Even after opening the mystic eye, there seems to be nothing unusual about the place where Xiao Yan and I exited. It's as if it was just a patch of land all along, with no exit at all. Mu Feng replied, puzzled. His mastery of the art of the Yin-yang 8 trigrams had never failed before. Could it be that the exit they used had vanished into thin air? How could that be? Uncle Wu, what's the story with that child? Xiao Yan noticed Wu Jiang's particularly courteous attitude towards the child. Ah, that child is the son of the sect master in this area. So, this matter needs careful consideration. You may go now. The 5th-tier talent assessment has just concluded. Go check it out. The selection is set to begin tomorrow. Make sure to perform well in the competition. We will handle the rest. Wu Jiang added. The rewards for this selection are quite generous, Wu Jiang noted. Got it. Both of them nodded and left. How could Jiang Yuan be so heavily tainted with ghostly energy? And how could the exit of that passage just disappear into thin air? Could it be that the specter in the cold pool Xiao Yan mentioned is? Wu Jiang muttered, then took out a letter, scribbled a few lines, and sent it through the shattered space. The letter bore the character urgent. In front of a grand hall, a man in a red robe sat leisurely, sipping tea and wine. Suddenly, the void trembled violently, and an envelope marked urgent appeared. With a casual wave of his hand, the envelope opened, and a few conspicuous words appeared before the man in red. A powerful specter suspected at Red Mountain. Urgent request for support. The mountain is named Red Mountain, and it's quite peculiar. While the soil of most ordinary mountains is brown or black, the soil of this mountain is entirely red, and strikingly so, resembling fresh blood. Hence, it got its name. Red Mountain is a small mountain range located on the outskirts of the mystic Three Heavens. Although it's much smaller compared to the actual mountain ranges within the mystic Three Heavens, Red Mountain benefits from its strategic location. It's the perfect spot to welcome newcomers who arrive to participate in the selection process. As a result, the sects within Mystic Three Heavens have an agreement with Red Mountain to use it as a base for welcoming newcomers every year. In return, Mystic Three Heavens provides the sects within Red Mountain with valuable cultivation resources. Within Red Mountain, there exists a formidable sect known as Crimson Valley. People might not understand why it's named this way, but Crimson Valley is a powerful sect located on the outskirts of the Mystic Three Heavens. Despite its sect master being a woman, her cultivation level is as high as a 6-star Do D. Because of her strength, even though countless individuals covet this mountain range, they have had no choice but to give up under her formidable pressure. Thus, Crimson Valley has enjoyed years of peace. In Red Mountain, the buildings are numerous and varied. There are no simple or ugly structures here. Most buildings are uniquely designed and quite lavish. Crimson Valley takes pride in its extravagance, which is not only tied to the beliefs within Crimson Valley but also speaks to their considerable financial resources, showcasing the sect's solid foundation. The buildings are primarily concentrated at the midsection of the mountain. All the structures of Crimson Valley are divided into upper and lower levels by this mid-mountain boundary. Currently, the upper level is home to the original residents of Crimson Valley, while the lower level houses the newcomers who have come for the selection. Both sides have made their greetings, and as such, the residents of the upper and lower levels do not disturb each other. In the upper level, inside a quiet room, faint, dark flames were burning slowly. These flames were unusually dim, yet carried a sinister, eerie quality, giving off a sense of malice. Upon closer inspection, one could discern that the faint, dark form these flames took was quite similar to the phantom spring ghost spirit that Xiao Yan and the others encountered in the cold pool. Phantom Spring, what business do you have with me? A clear, crisp female voice slowly echoed through the room. The woman wore a simple gown, her long hair elegantly styled with exquisite hairpins. Though she was somewhat aged, her beauty remained undeniable. It's nothing serious. I just came to inform you that there's been a slight problem with our operation. Some of the people we captured managed to escape. Should we advance the plan? Phantom Spring whispered cautiously. Although this woman needed their help from the ghost realm, given the current situation, the Great One's seal in the cold pool remained intact, and Phantom Spring was no match for him. Respect was the only option. Though their failure to contain the escapees was indeed an oversight by the ghost realm, in their world, nothing is just or fair. Power speaks louder than words. What? How could you be so careless? The woman erupted in anger. She was Hong Yi, the master of Crimson Valley. She was aware of these secretive actions by the ghost realm, abducting newcomers stealthily due to some undisclosed cooperation with them. But this time, for some unknown reason, they had captured hundreds of people. This was no trivial matter, and now that some had managed to escape, if word got out, it would spell big trouble. You people from the ghost realm are truly incompetent. You can't even handle such a small task. What happened to the assurances you gave when we first agreed to work together? Hong Yi shouted, furious. In the past, a few newcomers would go missing during each selection, but under Hong Ye's influence, the people of Mystic Three Heavens did not pay much attention, and the matter was settled quietly. However, with so many disappearances this time, it would surely alarm the higher-ups of Mystic Three Heavens. This was unavoidable. This time, our Great One will break the seal. All the previous preparations were for this moment. Phantom Spring retorted, unwilling to back down. Ridiculous. This time, you've caused too much commotion. How am I supposed to cover this up? Hong Yi fumed. Hee, once this matter is settled, what you desire will also be granted. Won't you have nothing to fear from Mystic Three Heavens then? Phantom Spring quickly replied, attempting to soothe her, for now was not the time to fall out with Hong Yi. Hong Yi pondered for a moment before speaking. I understand. The selection begins tomorrow. I will cooperate with you. Just make sure you keep your word, or else. Hong Ye's meaning was clear. If the ghost realm didn't fulfill their promise to her, the consequences would be severe. With that, Phantom Spring wasted no time, transforming into a wisp of black smoke and returning to the cold pool. Watching Phantom Spring leave, Hong Ye's previously unapproachable demeanor softened. She became more like a delicate woman, gently walking to the bookshelf in the room. She turned a particular book, and a hidden chamber revealed itself. Gulang, I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I'm doing all this for you. What meaning is there in a world without you? When you wake up, we'll leave this place forever, go to a place where it's just the two of us. Wouldn't that be wonderful? As she spoke, tears began to fall uncontrollably. The person in her arms remained motionless, wrapped tightly in white silk, resembling a mummy. Master Yu, earlier, someone came to the path to investigate our entrance. Fortunately, we activated the formation just in time and weren't discovered. This place might have been compromised. Should we relocate? A dark specter asked. You did well. Pack everything up, destroy what can't be taken. We leave tomorrow, Phantom Spring instructed, heading toward the stone chamber at the center of the cold pool. How's it going? Phantom Spring asked a shadow by the edge of the cold pool. Almost there. Our Lord has absorbed the blood of these humans, and his strength has recovered to about 90%. Breaking the seal is only a matter of time, the malevolent ghost spirit replied. Now, we just have to wait. I'm quite looking forward to this selection of new talents, Phantom Spring said, greedily opening his mouth wide. In the cold pool, what was once dark brown water had long since turned a bright red, like blood. The overwhelming scent of blood filled the stone chamber, and bubbles rose from the pool as if something was about to emerge. Mu Feng, where are we heading now? Xiao Yan asked, puzzled as he was pulled along by Mu Feng. Today is the day when the 5th-tier talents are announced, and also when the rules for the selection competition are revealed. We should hurry to see what's going on, Mu Feng replied. Hearing this, Xiao Yan remembered that today was indeed the day for the 5th-tier talent announcement and the competition rules release. He quickly followed Mu Feng toward the square. As they arrived at the square, Xiao Yan noticed it was packed with people, so much so that there wasn't an inch of space. In the center of the square, a pavilion had suddenly appeared. It wasn't particularly luxurious, clearly a temporary construction, likely erected just for today's announcements. The 5th-tier talents are about to be announced. I wonder what tier I'll be rated. I heard 1st tier is the lowest and 5th tier is the highest. It's said that being rated as a 5th-tier talent means you've practically got one foot in the door of the 9 great super sects. After all, I've heard that only a handful of people at each location are rated as 5th-tier talents. I'd be satisfied with a 2nd-tier rating. Murmurs of anticipation and worry filled the air around them. Xiao Yan, over here. As Xiao Yan and Mu Feng were anxiously searching for a spot to observe, Yue Ru's voice reached Xiao Yan's ears. Upon hearing her, Xiao Yan and Mu Feng moved toward where Yue Ru was standing. I want to find you at noon, but you weren't there. I thought you came early, Yue Ru said, with a hint of disappointment in her voice. Sorry, Uncle Wu had something for me, so I went over. We just got here, Mu Feng replied, his eyes gleaming as he looked at Yue Ru, just about to speak when Xiao Yan quickly covered his mouth. From Yue Ru's words, Xiao Yan realized she didn't yet know about his disappearance last night, likely because Uncle Wu had kept it under wraps. If too many people knew about the disappearance, it could cause unnecessary panic. Xiao Yan then released Mu Feng and gave him a significant wink. Mu Feng understood, smiled at Yue Ru, and said, Hello, Miss Yu. I'm Xiao Yan's friend. Pleased to meet you. He extended his hand toward Yue Ru as he spoke. Yue Ru's eyes flickered slightly, and after a moment's hesitation, she extended her delicate hand. Clearly, she felt something strange about the aura surrounding Mu Feng, who was dressed in a Taoist robe. However, as he was Xiao Yan's friend, she extended her hand out of politeness and said softly, "Hello, I am Yue Ru." The two briefly shook hands and then let go. Xiao Yan noticed that Yue Ru seemed particularly warm and enthusiastic towards him, while being cold as ice to everyone else. He decided not to dwell on these troublesome matters. Perhaps, once they joined a sect, such feelings would gradually fade away. Yue Ru's aura was pure, like the bright moon, while Mu Feng, who had long dealt with ghostly entities, had inevitably absorbed some of their sinister and eerie energy. It was no wonder Yue Ru found his presence peculiar. After a brief exchange, the three of them turned their attention to the tall building in the square. "Quiet down, everyone. The names of those with fifth-tier talents are about to be announced." An elder standing on the building held several jade slips and spoke slowly. Although the elder's voice seemed weak, it carried a powerful undercurrent of Do Qi, making it resonate loudly across the square. As the elder's voice spread through the square, the previously buzzing crowd fell silent. All eyes, filled with a mix of tension and anticipation, turned towards the tall building. They knew that the jade slips in this elder's hands would determine their treatment and even their prospects in the upcoming selection. The newcomers in the square understood that while they might have been the pride of their respective cities or regions, their previous advantages meant nothing now that they had gathered here. Past arrogance and the entitled attitudes of young masters and princesses would have to be curbed. Mystic Three Heavens was a place filled with hidden talents and formidable experts. Here, without strength, even a tiger must crouch and a dragon must coil. To soar like an eagle, one must undergo rigorous trials. These newcomers, who had once been the lofty heirs and heiresses of their families, came with their flaws and virtues. Yet, arriving at Mystic Three Heavens could change these shortcomings. This is why Mystic Three Heavens was highly regarded by various forces across the Xinling continent. They had finally arrived at the outskirts of Mystic Three Heavens after a long journey, gone through talent assessments, and now had to participate in the upcoming selection to determine their ranking and rewards for joining the super sects. Everyone present understood that from the moment the talent rankings were announced, their fates would be in their own hands. Though they might have once been the prodigies of their homelands, their previous status would mean nothing compared to the new reality. From now on, they could only rely on themselves. To join one of the 9 great super sects of Mystic Three Heavens and learn advanced Do techniques and cultivation methods, they had to pass through multiple rounds of rigorous selection. In this place, filled with hidden talents and fierce competition, they could rely only on themselves, striving to enhance their strength to gain recognition and access to greater resources. And it all began with the classification of their talents. Without a doubt, the classification of fifth-tier talents, where the first tier is the lowest and the fifth tier the highest, did not necessarily mean that those with first-tier talents would achieve low accomplishments, or that those with fifth-tier talents would reach great heights in the future. However, those who could win the first race from the starting line certainly had a significant advantage. Seeing the square quiet down, the elder on the high platform, under the gaze of thousands, slowly opened the jade slips and announced, "This time, we have a total of 1,000 participants at the Red Mountain checkpoint. Of these, 500 have been rated with second-tier talents, 300 with third-tier talents, 100 with fourth-tier talents, and those rated with fifth-tier talents. There are 9 in total." As soon as these words were spoken, the square fell into absolute silence. After all, this checkpoint hosted thousands of participants, all of whom were prodigies from all over. Yet, out of these thousands, only 9 had been rated as newcomers with fifth-tier talents. This alone highlighted the immense value of being a fifth-tier talent newcomer. Xiao Yan wasn't too surprised by this announcement. During his assessment, his soul power was measured at the rare 10th level, something incredibly uncommon even in Mystic Three Heavens. Xiao Yan felt confident that he would be classified as a fifth-tier talent newcomer. 9, huh? I wonder where the other 8 prodigies come from. Mu Feng muttered quietly, but he could sense a faint pressure emanating from Xiao Yan. It was important to note that Mu Feng, with his early 4-star Do D strength and his mastery of the mystical Yin Yang 8 trigrams, could even contend with stronger 4-star Do Di opponents. There were only two possible reasons he felt this pressure. One reason could be that Xiao Yan's strength surpassed his own. The other possibility was that Xiao Yan possessed something capable of threatening him. While Xiao Yan's strength was not weak, Mu Feng discerned through careful observation that Xiao Yan was at the peak of 3-star Do Di, only a step away from reaching 4-star Do Di, but still firmly a 3-star Do Di. Thus, the only explanation was that Xiao Yan had something powerful on him that even Mu Feng feared. There must be some hidden secrets about Xiao Yan. Otherwise, when we were on the Ghost Realm's territory, the effects of the bewildering potion were incredibly potent. If Xiao Yan didn't have some means, he would have succumbed right then and there. Moreover, he showed considerable prowess later at the cold pool. This Xiao Yan. Mu Feng contemplated silently. After the elder on the platform finished speaking, there was a brief silence in the square, followed by a burst of excitement. Clearly, the crowd was fervently discussing who the recipients of the 5th-tier talents might be. Only 100 people were rated with 4th-tier talents. The odds of being rated as 4th-tier talent are less than 1 in 10. Brother Ma, being rated as a 4th-tier talent is certainly worthy of a true prodigy. We hope you can look out for us in the future. A short-statured man beside Xiao Yan and his group kept flattering incessantly, clearly scheming his way into someone's good graces even before the selection competition had begun. This showed his cunning nature. The man referred to as Brother Ma smiled faintly, then said nonchalantly, "Being a 4th-tier newcomer is just the beginning. We still need to strive for more, perhaps even achieving the status of a 5th-tier talent." At that point, however, while speaking, Brother Ma's barely concealed excitement was evident, clearly enjoying the flattery and sycophancy being lavished upon him. As he spoke, he cast a hostile glance in the direction of Xiao Yan and the others. His gaze shifted slightly, landing on Yue Ru. Brother Ma scrutinized her closely. Even though some women with decent figures were already currying favor by his side, compared to Yue Ru, they were worlds apart. Her 3,000 strands of silk-like hair cascaded down, her dark eyes flickered slightly, and her charming smile, combined with her nearly perfect figure, made Brother Ma unconsciously drool. Xiao Yan noticed Brother Ma's behavior and turned his head with a subtle smile, one that seemed particularly mysterious. Brother Ma also noticed the unusual interaction between the woman and Xiao Yan. Given his keen eye, he quickly assessed that the man beside Yue Ru was merely at the peak of 3-star Do Di, not enough to be a threat. With Brother Ma in the game, success is a sure thing, the short man continued. For those from small places like him, if they didn't find a backer before the selection started, they were doomed to be eliminated. Once eliminated, they would have to return home, losing the precious opportunity to train in Mystic 3 Heavens. Next, I will announce the names of the newcomers with 5th-tier talents. Those whose names are called, please come forward to receive your tokens, the elder atop the high platform said leisurely. Instantly, the square fell silent again. Thousands of people were eager to know who the 9 individuals with the exceptional 5th-tier talents were. Zhu Qing, the elder announced slowly. As soon as this name was uttered, a commotion erupted in the square. At this moment, a rather beautiful young woman flew up from among the thousands of people, heading toward the high platform. Xiao Yan and the others then saw a beautiful woman in a long white dress, her long ponytail swinging gracefully, looking quite striking. The most noticeable feature was the long whip coiled around her waist, which wrapped around her like a water snake, adding to her allure. Even with Xiao Yan's powerful soul force, he could sense a formidable power emanating from the whip. This whip was undoubtedly no ordinary item. The moment Zhu Qing appeared, she caused quite a stir in the square. I heard this woman is quite something. She managed to defeat a late 4-star Do Di with her mid 4-star Do Di strength alone. Not only that, but her figure is also quite impressive. If someone could win her favor, whispers continued around them. As far as I know, Zhu Qing hails from a place very close to Mystic 3 Heavens. The force behind her is quite formidable, and she wields her whip with masterful skill. In battles, even the slightest mistake from her opponent can be deadly, Yue Ru said softly. Xiao Yan nodded in agreement. Just being from a place so close to Mystic 3 Heavens, was enough to suggest a strong background. Moreover, the cultivation resources available to her were far superior to those Yue Ru had access to, so her strength was not surprising. Mu Feng, on the side, was visibly surprised. Such insider information was typically known only to those with internal connections. What was Yue Ru's background, exactly? He was about to ask but decided against it, sensing that Yue Ru was deliberately avoiding him. The woman, undisturbed by the commotion below, bowed slightly to the elder, took her token, and gracefully returned to an open spot in the square. Huang Zong. Following the first name, the announcements picked up speed. As soon as the elder finished speaking, another woman in tight-fitting clothes flew toward the high platform. As soon as this woman appeared, an even greater commotion erupted in the square. Before the crowd stood a woman with short hair resembling that of a man, dressed in tight-fitting clothes. If one didn't look closely, her short hair would make her look no different from a man. However, her tight attire accentuated her figure, highlighting her curves in all the right places, drawing howls of admiration from the crowd below. Humph, men, Huang Zong remarked casually, standing atop the high platform. You're still the same girl, the elder on the platform sighed helplessly. Well, we're here for a selection competition. Fighting in a long dress would be too troublesome. This is more practical. Hurry up already. It's such a hassle, Huang Zong said impatiently. Without further delay, the elder handed her the token, and she transformed into a streak of light, returning to the square below. This person is named Huang Zong. It's rumored that she has an elder who is an elder of a sect within the mystic three heavens. However, her own talent and strength are quite formidable. But Huang Zong herself is extremely combative. If you provoke her, it'll be a big problem, Yue Ru explained once again. Song Cheng, Yi Tian, Li Xian, Luo Ming. The elder on the high platform continued to slowly announce several more names, each causing a stir among the crowd. So far, 6 newcomers with 5th-tier talents had been announced. Without exception, all 6 possessed mid-4-star Do D strength. Beside him, Mu Feng couldn't help but smirk. All 6 of them were mid-4-star Do D, while he was only at the early stage of 4-star Do D. However, even so, he was not at all afraid to face any one of them in battle,